Hey, thanks everybody for showing up again. This is Dave. This is episode number 15, 1-5 of the DLA Minute, or as I like to call it, the Fraud, Waste, Abuse Minute from the DLA. All right, we got a lot of things to go over, and I appreciate you guys showing up to cut the out of my DOD. I paid for it. I did 21, 22 years in it, and I really can't believe some of the things they're doing, but we're going to cover up some, or we're going to uncover some of the cover-ups coming up. All right, I'd like to have special thanks to DLA Joe and Army Al, okay, and everyone else, including congressmen and women, General Williams, Colonel Cannon. This is episode 15, like I said. All right, in the last month or so, we have had over 5,500 hits, and this, let's face it, this is a bland type topic and everything. It's only 500 million, you know, your money. And well, I had somebody debate me the other day that it wasn't $500 million wasted, close to 400 or 350 million dollars wasted. Only in government do they say that $350 million is not really waste. Really, I mean, if you can raise $1 million, 200 million, 300 million, hey, put it back in the system and it's all good. All right. I just still can't wrap my hand around that. All right, I would like to thank the Senate and the House Armed Services Committee, Mr. Inhofe, Thornberry, Liz Cheney, Claire McCaskill. Thank you very much. We're supposed to have a meeting today, but we got postponed off to tomorrow. And the law offices of Danziger and DeLiano. All right, update. This is what's been happening since day one. Hey, the numbers are getting closer to the truth. I was told 4 months ago that for every Humvee that the Army crushed, they got $5,000 from. No, not even close. All right, it's actually they lose between $250 to $1,500 per Humvee that gets crushed. They lose, don't gain, lose, as in time management, transportation of the vehicle, preparation of the vehicle, hazmat fees, transportation, everything that's tossed in there, they lose up to $1,500 per vehicle. They don't make, DLA doesn't make anything. Oh yeah, I got told, well, DLA is not in the business of making money. I know, but let's not set our money on fire and burn it either. All right, so the numbers are actually coming out. They're actually saying that they're getting between almost $7,000 to $9,000 per vehicle, if you count in not shipping and all the fees that are saved and everything. So they're saying like $6,800 per vehicle. You throw in all the other fees that they don't have to pay, that brings the up a little bit. But their numbers are still wonky because they're not throwing in the Marine Corps numbers. I know you're not. You don't throw in $10 million worth of Humvees and the price doesn't come up. All right. Interesting, the other day, out of the blue, just sitting there, watch TV, the G4 of how should I put this? The guy that's in charge of all the rolling stock for the Army, the G4 for rolling stock and everything, called me, said, hey, how you doing? What's up? My name is Al. And I've been directed to we got your packet. We've been to investigate what's going on here. So, hey, you got my number, and we've been talking since then, and so they're getting some great and wonderful information. I know from what I've been understand, the DOD and DLA IGs are both conducting investigations, and they ain't happy. The Senate and the House Armed Services Subcommittees have been given the information, and they are looking into it. With one member is demanding an investigation, and I don't believe it. I've actually got Democrats and Republicans looking at this. I was able to bring together Congress. Wow, that's amazing. And I hate to say it, but the DLA's credibility has been shot with at least 5 federal agencies I've been dealing with. They're like, we don't believe them anymore, anything they say. And at least 43 state governments have, to me at least, come out and said, yeah, they can't trust it for nothing. So it's bad when the government can't trust the government. All right, we got a contest going on right now, 3 minutes, and it will 3-minute videos, and it will end on July 4th at midnight, my time. You can make it on anything you want. Humvees, OH-58s getting crushed, aircraft, $400 hammers, $400,000 washers. They said, I'm talking about the little metal ones. Just make a nice 3-minute or less video about why your tax money is being wasted and what they could do to fix it, or just like, what the hell are you doing type video. And the person who wins that will get the most views if you get the most views, you will get $200 from me, basically. Okay? All right. If you go on not Iron Planet, Government Liquidators right now, there's a Hemet on there for sale. 977 Hemet, beautiful shape. Pennsylvania National Guard, they got it down. It evidently is going to probably go for about $2,000. If you go on Government Planet, you'll see the last one they sold was for $31,000. The one on the problem is Iron Planet. You drive it away, and it's all good and everything. Government Government Liquidators, you got to go there with a blowtorch and cut it up in a bunch of pieces and scrap it, which doesn't make any sense. All right, Mr. Cannon. Okay, I would love to sit down with you and over soda and talk about workable ideas that could generate DLA cash and help the communities. No malice, no upsetting here or anything like that. I'd like to sit down with you. Product placement. It's good when you have your own little show. The network optimization. I would really like everybody to look into that for the DLA and see what you think that's going on there. Evidently, states are not happy with it. There's a couple federal organizations that are not happy with it, and the network optimization that you guys are doing, look into it, people, because it's going to hurt. All right. According to a conference call, DLA has said that 75% of all vehicles this year, as a target, they want to scrap 75+% of all vehicles this year. Not even give them a chance to go out through the system. Not through GSA Access, not through Iron Planet, not through Government Liquidators as a real vehicle. Just scrap them. Saves time, right? Saves money. Not really. Under the old system, you had to do a lot. From what I understand, the old system, you had to do a lot of prep and paperwork and everything to get a vehicle out the door. Under Clinton and everything. Now it's sign over to a contractor and sell it. But they're under the old system where they say that, let's just save money and scrap them all. A couple years ago, they were at 50% scrap, and about 4 or 5 years ago, they were at 50% scrap, and they're edging that up to 75% scrap. And by January 1st, January 1st next year, they want to go to 100% scrap. Yeah, that was told to me by a GS-14 that is in charge of the system. Dude, vehicles can be repurposed and reused. They don't have to be scrapped. There's no publication out there that says the ECCN 0 Alpha 606 Alpha vehicles need to be scrapped. Hey, if you're out there and you just don't know what I just said, ECCN 0 Alpha 606 Alpha. Google it. It's any military vehicle that's thin-skinned, not armored, that is not a combat vehicle. It can be sold. And also, look up the books, print them off. They are DOD Manual 4160.28, Volume 1, 2, and 3. I would print them off real quick because they're about to vanish, I think. Because they're their own rules, and I'm using their own rules, and they're saying, whatever. So just look up the rules and everything. All right, now, please stop telling things that are not true. Good friend Joe, no malice intended, Joe has found out personally that the numbers thrown out are, let's say, inconsistent. I think the words that have been using. So he works with the DLA. He's my POC, my point of contact. He threw out numbers at first that were way off, and he had to go back and got more numbers that were off. And I think he's starting to realize that the numbers are off. And I would say to you, go to the Marines and toss in those numbers too, because there's like a bunch of millions missing that aren't accounted for. Okay. New little thing that just happened. I had a person here today as a matter of fact, who doubted me, called me names and everything, and he came by and saw my research today. Except for one person, or two, counting Joe, except for one person who I found out works at a scrapyard. Once they looked at my documentation and my emails and my facts and everything, they're like, whoa, you're right. Okay. So I get no real satisfaction in that. But once people take the time and realize that how much research has actually gone into this, they realize that I'm not a tin hat wearer. I'm not, I'm not a public speaker, but I'm not a tin hat wearer either. So they've actually gone back and looked at stuff, and they go, wow, you're right. So if you are doubting this, I just ask for my files and everything. I've got one guy screaming at me. That's the one guy that I need to post everything on Facebook. Look, dude, if you post everything on Facebook with addresses and phone numbers and all that stuff, all that somebody has to do is go, hey, you violated the Facebook Terms of Service Agreement. You get banned for life. So if you want it, contact me. I'll give it to you. And then we're good. Okay. Now, one thing that was brought up was the government doesn't want the stuff out there for a few reasons. One, somebody's got to be making money. I really don't think anybody's making money off this. I really don't. I think that the people in charge up at the top, they're true believers. They don't want vehicles out there in public hands. So they're going to scrap them no matter what. That's old thinking. It needs to change. I don't think somebody's getting rich off a scrap contract, because the people I talk to, like at Southern Metals and everything, they don't pay much, but they got to transport them, cut them up. They got to sit them in a lot to have DLA come out and make sure that everything's still there. Then they crush them in front of DLA. It's a lot of work, and I don't have any hate towards scrap metal guys, but if parts come up missing off it and they find their way to the street, somebody's going to go to jail. They're taking a chance on that and everything. Or if a vehicle comes up missing, they could go to jail. So I don't think anybody's making money off this. I think the guys at the DLA that are forcing this upon us are true believers in policy. Okay? They are true believers in policy, and the policy's there. They have power. They don't want to see it change, or they're the ones that made the policy under the old administration, and, whatever. But one of the things that did come up was possible vehicles being stolen or being used by terrorists or whatever. So here's the thing. I was able to go back and find three military vehicles that have been used in nefarious acts since 1995. Okay, M60 tank out of California. It drove down the middle of the freeway, I believe it was I-5, and crushed a whole bunch of cars and hit light poles and stuff like that. All right. They stole it from the California National Guard. It was not the guy walked into the motor pool with a wrench and a crowbar and started breaking into tanks, found one that actually worked, and drove off the National Guard lot. They couldn't do anything to do it. And then the last one, there was one that came out of, there's a Humvee, up-armored Humvee a few years ago, and then there was a North Carolina Humvee February 4th, 2017. Came out of Fort Gordon and drove to North Carolina, and again, it got stolen from the Army. Okay, so the issues with the military vehicles being used illegally, they're not from private hands. They're from the government, people walking into military posts and stealing vehicles from the government. It doesn't have anything to do with that. So I've gone over my time I wanted to do. Thank you very much for showing up. Hey, please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe, and watch the other videos and tell me what you think. If you love me, hate me, think I'm annoying, boring, whatever. If you do, they're probably my daughter. But yeah, get back with me. And if you have any DLA issues as far as irregularities and everything, like the guys out of Louisiana, please call me or email me, and I will vet it and I'll put it on this program. Okay? And we're getting there. We're actually seeing some progress. So I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you very much, and day back.